Phoenix Splash TV. Japanese rock and roll is probably one of the most interesting types of music there is to date. It's getting more and more popular as time progresses, and will eventually find its place in music history and music textbooks. But if all of Japanese rock had a face, or poster boys, then it would be X Japan. Now, X Japan isn't just one of my favorite J-rock bands, it's one of my favorite music acts of all time, from any country or time period. With their new documentary coming out, it's about time American audiences get to see exactly who they are. Now, if you've seen my videos on X Japan, then you can guess that I'm a fan of X Japan, but there's something about the fandom that I really don't understand. I've been baffled by it for years now. Some X Japan fans, mainly Hide fans, seem to hate Yoshiki. I find that bizarre. So why do they hate Yoshiki? And if you're one of the fans that hate Yoshiki, I'm about to tell you why you really shouldn't hate him. This video is probably going to get disliked big time, but the truth has to come out, damn it. Let's start with some misconceptions that I pretty much see everywhere online. X Japan would be better off with another drummer other than Yoshiki. Yoshiki plus Toshi equals X Japan. You can't really have X Japan without these two people in it. One is the composer of the band, and the other is the voice. Not only is Yoshiki the composer, but he's also the producer, arranger, and the whole driving force behind X Japan. Without Yoshiki, X Japan wouldn't have got back together and wouldn't be playing today. Another misconception, Yoshiki writes only the piano and drum parts of the song. For some reason, people think that composers can only write for their own instruments, and that's totally ignorant. I can't really think of a nicer word. Keep in mind, Yoshiki wrote for the Golden Globe Awards, he arranged orchestral works for Kiss, the man can write for symphonies, and you mean to tell me that he can't write for guitar? That's a bit silly. I'm a composer myself, and I can write for guitar, bass, violin, woodwinds, brass, percussion, and vocals. I'm not a pro composer. Yoshiki is a pro composer. So the whole Yoshiki probably didn't write that guitar part assumption really needs to die. And yes, it is possible that the other guitar players added stuff to the parts, but there really is no clarification on that. The composer credits on songs like Silent Jealousy all read composed by Yoshiki. There's not even co-composer credits. X Japan is a lot like the Dave Matthews Band. Dave Matthews pretty much writes all the songs, and without Dave Matthews, you can't really have the Dave Matthews Band. Without Yoshiki, there can be no X Japan. Here's another internet rumor. The reason X Japan ended in the first place was because of Yoshiki's ego. Wrong again, internet. The reason X Japan was disbanded was because of Toshi. He wanted to leave because he got brainwashed into not wanting to be a rock star. He's written a book about it, and the knowledge is even on Wikipedia, so it's all confirmed. Now, does Yoshiki have an ego? Of course he does, and if you hate him, that should be the only reason you do hate him. He pretty much has no choice but to have an ego though, if you really think about it. I mean, we've all heard the story where he wanted to record at a American studio, and he even booked a date and everything, and they told him no because Metallica was recording. So Yoshiki bought the studio and kicked Metallica out. Now that's a pretty awesome type of ego if you ask me. Another reason Hide fans might hate Yoshiki is the fact that Yoshiki was paid more than the rest of the band. Again, this falls under the composer credits. Do you ever wonder why Duran Gray stopped giving individual composer credits? Well, that plays part in how much money they make. Now, all of the songs just say written by Duran Gray, even though we all know it's Koru, the guitar player. I mean, come on. Well, Yoshiki didn't see it that way. He thought if he wrote the music, then he should be getting paid more. And you know, that's kind of understandable. And also keep in mind, he did let the other members write music too. Hide and Taji's music play an ample part of X Japan's history. Taji's departure from the band is another reason people hate Yoshiki. The whole wage gap was just one of the many reasons why Taji left the band. Taji actually wanted to change the type of music X Japan was playing. and that would have been a bad idea. Did Yoshiki point at him and say, "You're out"? No, that's not how it went down. Even in Taji's autobiography, he doesn't really know who pulled the trigger on kicking him out. Was it someone in upper management? Was it a band vote? We don't know. In Taji's autobiography, he talks about Yoshiki like he's a really good friend, so there really isn't much heat between them, or was. And finally, the change in style of music. Personally, I like the new style of X Japan. I thought it added another layer of musicality that I had never seen from them before. I was a huge fan of IV when it came out on Saw 4. I thought the style resurrected the band and reignited some creative juices. There was still X Japan in there, but there was actually a bit of Hide in there too. If you listen to Hide's late stuff like Breeding and Pink Spider, you can kinda hear the direction his music was going. But some fans just want the same old stuff over and over again, which is speed metal. One of the main reasons I think Yoshiki changed the style was because of his health. You can only play that fast drum beat for so long. I think it's an admirable thing to do. Yeah, it's risky, but I have a feeling even if they were playing speed metal now, they would be getting the same criticisms that every band gets. Their old stuff was better. I was reading comments on Yoshiki's Facebook when he posted an ad for a We Are X documentary. My goodness, it was so bad. The top comments were pretty much, "Where's Hide?" along with a bunch of negative Yoshiki comments. There was so much backlash that Yoshiki followed up with another photo with him and Hide in it, in the early days of X Japan. Pretty nice photo. Now, I'm not sure why Hide fans in particular seem to hate Yoshiki, but I think that they have to like one and hate the other. You know, you're allowed to like both, right? Out of all of the original lineup of X Japan, Hide was actually the last to join. That's right, even after Pada. There were rumors that he was going to become a hairdresser, and Yoshiki had to convince him to become a rock star. So without Yoshiki, there probably wouldn't be a Hide. And I know that stings, and you probably hit that dislike button, or pause the video, hit that dislike button, you probably can't even hear what I'm saying now. But don't get me wrong, Hide was an amazing musician and composer. He had an amazing solo career and is pretty much labeled the Kurt Cobain of Japan, and he totally deserves it. Another reason people might hate Yoshiki is due to the fact that he's a drummer. I really didn't touch on this subject. I always thought it was cool that the drummer was the star of the band. I mean, not many bands have that. Yoshiki always put himself as the center of attention as far as the music videos go, but that's not to say the others didn't shine as well. They all had characters that they were playing, and it was really cool. I think many people are just so used to a guitar player or a main vocalist playing that role that Yoshiki did in the videos. So it's a bit confusing. Also, he's the leader and many people miss the old sound and old members of X Japan. They need someone to blame, much like Obama. But Yoshiki is not immortal and he can't resurrect the dead, so cut the guy some slack. So what do you think about all of this? Do you still hate Yoshiki with a fiery passion? Probably do. I learned that it's really hard to change people's minds on the internet. But do you like Yoshiki? Or do you just not give a shit? Leave it in the comments below, and don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe to Phoenix Splash TV. This is Game Analyzer, signing off.